Karine Talbot, and she is she graduated from the University of Montreal in 2008. She's with High Life in Canada, and listen to this, she's the Director of Animal Health, and she works on health production, welfare, and biosecurity from the start, multiplication, through commercial production, into slaughter branding, in truck washes, in research and development, and then she puts etc. So she's got a lot of things she's got responsibility for. She oversees the High Life herds in Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and North Dakota, has a home in southeast Manitoba, and we're going to talk now about new technologies and the how. This is the how of biosecurity with new technologies. Karine.
Okay, can you hear me well here? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm really happy to be here and talk about disease outbreak. Not happy to talk about disease outbreak, but I really like your presentation. I've been attending quite a few, and that struck us as we were fighting PD over the years. So you'll see one of the tools that we've started using in the last 2 years that has really helped us to discover a little bit more about some of the causes. So how the story begins, at least for me, it's not about PRRS, it's about PD. I'm in Manitoba. Not that we don't have PRRS, we have PRRS Light, but really that's when PEDs start in our province, and we really start to focus on how we can do better disease investigation. So this is what it looks like for the last few years in Manitoba. Our problem started similar to the US in 2014. But you can see, we count every case, Soundler Street finisher, no matter what. And this last wave in 21-22 was not pretty. We reached a level of 128 cases. In each of those, we wanted to learn better. Well, after the first one, we wanted to learn better. What did we do wrong? How come PD keeps spreading in our farms? And we believe we had fairly good biosecurity, but I agree with Daryl. Obviously, we're doing something wrong because this thing keeps spreading. So what does it mean to do outbreak investigation? It is time-consuming, and the clock is ticking. Now, there's two ways I look at disease investigation. There's the emergency one. So as soon as we suspect a case for us, we want to know who's next. Where did we accidentally might have brought that virus so we can stop the spread as fast as possible. That is where our disease investigation had to be faster. On-farm visit, yes, we do that. We will do the full investigation. We'll question the staff, various divisions. We'll get the manual sign-in sheet. We'll talk about those. And then we'll obtain all our service providers' schedule, either internal to our company or external, so the transport, the logistics schedule, feed, and livestock, and then maintenance, and then dead stock, and then your washing crews, your vaccination crews. So you get all of that, and you analyze that, and you try to see if there was any contact, so contact out. Is there any other barns that we put at risk? That's where we realized we needed a better system. We were not fast enough to do those investigations so we could stop the next outbreak. And I've talked in another presentation about biocontainment, so we got better at biocontainment ahead of the outbreak as well. The clock is ticking, and we wanted to be faster, and one of those would take us up to 2 days sometimes to get all the information, if that was correct information. Now let's talk about those. Sign-in sheet. Am I the only one that faced this problem? That's a true sign-in sheet. I'm ashamed to say it. So that's what we face when we do disease outbreak. We ask the farm to send us their record, and what we realized is, hopefully people remember to sign in. We were missing 10 to 20% of the people, and you can even read the sign-in sheet. So interestingly, on top you can see a date of August 6, 2020. And right under it's September, at the corner there, September 16, 2021. Oh, is that even possible? This is reality. So that complicated up. And we're, again, on a clock that's ticking, we're trying to find information really quickly, and we're facing this problem. So what happened? We decided to learn more about geofencing and contact tracing software. So in my case, we use a company called Farm Health Garden. There's other companies out there. We did a pilot project with them. Now, interestingly enough, when we signed up for that pilot project, we were not facing PD at the time. But really quickly, fall 2021, that's when our third wave started again. We put 30 sites on it. That was including some barns, truck wash, our slaughter plants. And then we wanted to see what we could this is very new for us. We didn't know what to expect, what kind of data we could get out of it, would that be useful? So we put 30 farms on it, and we were convinced in just a matter of a few months as PD was ramping across our farms. So we went with full implementation of this geofencing in the spring 2022. So it's fairly new still for us. Currently, all our properties are geofenced. The little not so bright maps you see there, that's what it looks like for us. So anything that is has swine in it, so any farms with high life, the slaughter plant, the truck washes, the feed mills, any high life business will be on this. Now, what's a geofence? Maybe you're all familiar with it, but I'll go through it because that was new to me. It's not a real fence. It's a virtual fence you put around a site, a properties. What it does, it records movement on and off. So it's not like we're tracking people all over the place. That's very important. What is happening is when people with the device go on site, we see their presence. And then you go off site, you disappear from the geofence. What's that device? What do we use to get that on and off? So the easiest was our truck. Our fleet was all equipped with GPS already. That would be very common in the industry. So livestock, feed truck, they all had GPS anyway. We make sure that that was included, so integrated with the system. Then the next step is people. How do you get people? We don't have GPS on us. Phone, for us that was a choice. Everybody has a smartphone. Our company provides phones to pretty much everybody on the road. So that wasn't easy. You put the app on your phone, you activate the application, and here you go. Anytime you cross a geofence, you will be detected. Then you hit some other people or type of equipment. Example, manure spreading, custom crew washing. Custom crew are a good example, manure spreading as well. We are a valve company. It's not all iLife employees. They don't necessarily want their employees to have that on their personal phone. So then you go with a little device, a GPS that you install in that piece of equipment. And that works very well. And then there's a fourth one. We've decided to use it, but that's available as well. It will be a tablet. So as you show up at a site, you have a tablet there, and then you virtually sign in onto the site. The app is free to all users, so what we pay for really is the geofence. Now, anyone can have the app on their phone, and we really encourage that. And then for confidential reasons, there's different access you can have. So I'll start with the bottom one. A visitor, any one of you right now, if you download the app, it's free, but you won't see anything until you get to a geofence. Now, what we do is we have a group user. So anyone linked to iLife, we give them an access, and then they can see our farms, and then they will also get our communication. We'll get into that later. And then the top one would be the higher you go. For example, our vet team, we have access to all the geofence, all the visitor, all the logs for the fleet. So we get a full access. That's very limited, but that's part of our contact tracing. You'll see an example. So what's the benefit? Why would anyone consider software like this? Well, for us, there was goals when we went to that pilot project and goals to expand it to what we have now. We wanted accurate, timely contact tracing in case of disease outbreak. Well, that's great, but we've discovered since there's so many more advantages with this type of technology. Employee engagement was a big one. So we're a large company, and any service provider within that, so any maintenance, high-life maintenance, veterinarians, production manager, we kind of all felt we had the right to visit farm anytime. And we're trying to change that mentality. We're saying no. The barn manager is the owner of that farm. He must know who's coming on the site. And we kind of have lost that visibility over time. So now we're empowering our employees, our barn manager, to know who's coming on their site. Feed meals goes around 24 hours a day. They didn't even know when the feed truck was showing up. Now we know. So that has been a very powerful tool for our employees to know what's happening on their site. It's easy to run practice. I do agree. My dream is to run this as a practice all the time. But it's perfect when we have an outbreak. Now we use it as well. We can monitor what's happening routinely, not just wait for the outbreak. We can see traffic. It's a visual tool. I'll show you a few examples. Visual as it's a powerful tool to teach people, train people, and make decisions. And that's what this has been giving us. And then it's a faster, better communication as well. We can send notification through the app to all users, so it pops up on their phone as a banner. So we all know, we send emails, we've done it in the past, we still do it, but not everybody sees their emails all the time. While a notification on our phone, usually it gains our attention very quickly. So the outbreak report we get, it provides us with a calendar of all the events during that time. So we put the date of when the event came in, the incubation period, You can make it as big as you want, and then it gets out as a calendar. You'll see. I'll show you an example. It gives you a list of people, of trucks, of property by level of risk, which I really like, because again, the clock is ticking when we have an outbreak. I don't have time to scan through everything and rank it myself. This app does it for us. It's really focused on what we call level 0, level 1, level 2. So you can focus your attention on the highest risk first and then go down the list. It shows a map with connection, visual tool. It can give you a radius. So if we're talking 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, it all does that for us. Average daily wind direction. If you believe you're fighting a disease that might be traveling by air, aerosol spread, it will give you the historical data. And I'll show you a real example here. And then you can export all of that in Excel. So if you're like me, I like to work with Excel. It's just simpler. You can do that with a click. Now let's see how to figure that out. Oh, we got it. Always risky money for a video. There we go. So what you're going to see in the next few minutes is an actual demonstration of me running an outbreak report in this app. So I open with my login. Now we're into the index. We'll pick a farm. So you're looking at my highlight account right now. Pick my farm, Argo. This is one of our finishing. I put an incubation period of 14 days. I picked the date in August. And then I'll run it so you could choose what you want to have in it. In this case, I'm selecting every property type, including truck visits. You could exclude things, so it's really custom made to what you want to see, and I will run it. Once it's run, it gives you the details of what was your report about. Now I'll go into the map as an example. So you will see the property maps that are linked to this in color code. I really love that as a teaching tool. And we sometimes use it as an example of if you think you're in your bubble, you're not. Like this, the red would be highest contact. Now I'm selecting there on that list like level 0, 1, 2. I usually focus on 0 and 1. You can see connection, and over the line, you can see who was there. The wind pattern there on this side on the right. Then I'll go remove those lines, then I'll click on the circle there. We'll make it a 5 kilometer circle for fun here. Let's zoom, so let's zoom right in. There's nobody in 5 kilometers in this farm. Only my farm. Remember, this is a highlight. But you can see I have other farm in that area. Now we'll go into the report that will show me which vehicles or people, so fomites, were at that site. There you go. So it lists everything, and it's a very long one, and then per day. So you can really pick your day and see who was there before and after. And like I said, for us, the first couple hours of an outbreak, we're focusing on out. We want to see where we potentially contaminated, and then we will focus on the in after. What went wrong? How did we get that disease in? And then that's where you will, you can go, here I'll click on an Excel report. So you can see messaging there, you could text people. Now I'm going to export that, and at the same time here a map will show up. I can zoom in. So extremely easy to use and a visual tool. Now I got my report done. In a matter of minutes, I click on it, and I can look at it by fomites or by property. So it's really easy to customize. And we've developed for us internally a protocol to use and go through that data as fast as we can. And we have people to help us with that within my team. Now this whole thing took about 2.5 minutes. So I won't lie to you, I edited a little bit because sometimes it has to think. It was 5.5 minutes. And I don't know if any of you have ever done a disease outbreak investigation. That used to take us 2 days to get that kind of information and verify it. Between the people, the service provider, so 5.5 minutes, and I got all the information I needed. Perfect. So what's our process now for an investigation? So as soon as we suspect an outbreak, we don't wait for confirmation usually, we start the process. So for us, we have a group chat. And we've included actually our team of engineers. We have a department in Highlight called Continuous Improvement, and it's led by engineers. They really help us with various things. They were really good at data, and we noted that, so we approached them and said, would you be willing to help us? Because vets, we're on the road, we're in the barn, so when we have a concern with a disease, we're often not sitting at our desk, but the engineers are often at the office, and they love data, so they were really excited to help us with this. So they're usually the one, we set a group text, all our vets are on here, and 3 engineers, and then whoever is the first one to reply, say, yeah, I got this, and they start running those reports. And we also use other tools that we have. They save the data, everything is standardized, how we save the data, where we save the data, and then the vet, as soon as we're back, we start looking into it. At the same time, we place the farm under biocontainment, so we don't wait. What it means is we will send a mass email and a communication through the app. Everybody will get it as a pop-up on their phone saying, hey, this farm is now under biocontainment or lockdown. In the app, you can go and place that farm. They call it lockdown in the app. So you can go and place the farm under lockdown. So anything that will go there will get a pop-up saying that farm is under lockdown. Once it's confirmed, then we will start more in-depth investigation. Once we know we've secured the site and we've secured the next site, then we will do the trace-in investigation. And I put there, we do like the SHIP questionnaire, actually. That's the next step we do. We go through that whole questionnaire of biosecurity and try to, for the disease investigation. Now I'll show you a few other key things that help, not only on the contact tracing, but it has also helped us to improve our biosecurity going forward. So an example is downtime. We have downtime between any sites. We have silence, refinishing, most fires. It's hard to remember. If you're on the road, you might not know all of those. We had issue with Excel sheet. People will save them on their desktop, and then the health status would change, and then they think it's good to go within 1 day or 0 downtime, but actually now it's 3 nights. So this, now on the app, they can actually do it. You just put the name of the farm you were at, the name of the farm you want to go, and then it pushed you the number of days that you have to go. And we make sure that that's current, and that's really helped us. Approved deny function, we like that. So it's a sign-in sheet, so I'm going to go here. So when you open your app, you sign in, and then you have a bunch of typical questions. Are you going inside, outside? Have you visited other countries? Are you bringing meat? So you answer all of those questions, and if something is wrong, or if everything is okay, it approves. So that's an example of me, it says I'm approved, so everything is safe. If it's not, it will deny you. And that will be also that report, we have access to it at the vet level. This is an example of me here. Now the manager would see that. He would see his visitors, and he would see if people have signed in, and if they're approved or not. And if they're not, that's how it looks at. Like, so this site was under lockdown at the time, this is one of the workers, but he got denied. And then right away, it pops on their phone, and it says 3 phone numbers are there for our vet team, and it says call your vet. And then we give them further direction. And yes, sometimes we do turn people around. Communication, so like I say, I mentioned a few times, it pops up on your phone. What it looks like is a banner like this. So we use that very regularly. We'll say this barn 123 XYZ is under biocontainment, under investigation, or it's confirmed with a disease. And people really love that. And often we have people that never go to site, for example, in our logistic team that plan movement of feed or pigs, they love this app because it pops on their phone right away and they know what's going on. Because that was one complaint internally. People were always, well, I was the last to know. I can tell you, even if we could tell them the minute we know it's not fast enough. They're always like, well, how come I didn't know? Say, I just got the results myself. I could not go faster. Well, this has helped a lot of our communication. What I like to is alerts for visits. So a manager, I know quite a few managers in our company, what they do is now they want to see what's coming up, so they put the allow banner, and as soon as if somebody would cross a truck or a person would cross the geofence, it pop up on their phone like this. I like it. If I have a site under lockdown, I will allow notification, and I will see all the traffic on that site in real time. Now, I don't allow it for all our site highlights, but if I have something under lockdown, I will do that. What are the gaps and limitations of such a geofencing tool, an app like this? Well, it only detects whoever is using the app or the GPS. So it's not a magical tool. If the person doesn't have a phone, and if they walk on the site, we won't know that. If it's a vehicle that doesn't have the GPS integrated, we won't see that. So really the work for us has been to integrate all parties that were coming to our site, and we're still working on that. The other challenge we've had is the third party. So it's easy as a company internally to convince your employees to have your fleet with GPS on it. The third parties, it's to approach them one by one. And we have really good update, I must say, but it's a work, it's a scaling work. We go there, we explain what we're trying to do, that we want their geofence data, so their GPS integrated with our geofence system. Once they understand those parties want to work with us, so livestock transport, like I say, washing company, they've been wanting to work with us. So it has been a journey, but a really good one. Some people are concerned about confidentiality. I mean, we're in an era where people have the right to be concerned. I would say we don't have a lot of struggle. It's just, again, it's been an approach one by one. We talk to people and explain what we're doing. We're showing them the report, and most people have been really willing to do that. We tell them, I have other stuff to do than know where people are going on Friday night. As long as it's not one of our side and it's not connected to an outbreak, we don't spend time looking at that data. And then if ever in that there's an uptake in the industry for those geofencing systems, one of my worries would be they need to be communicating and integrating together. So right now in Manitoba, we are 2 large companies on this. We've chosen the same system. But what if there would be another company that would choose a second company to work with? The power of this, what I've shown you today was mostly highlight data, but actually I can see if someone from our company would visit a different site that has been partnering. So just as we grow into this, and I believe this will grow into our industry, just making sure that this data set will talk together, because in an outbreak it's not just about one company or one production system. What's interesting to see is the connection we have with other production systems. So that would have to be talked about. What have we learned? Well, you can improve what you see. And this tool has given us this ability. So we can now see connection that we kind of knew, but now it's hard to ignore them. Schedules are not what's happening in life. And that was one big learning from us to use an app like this. We were getting schedule when we were doing our contact tracing, and we believe the schedule. What we realize now is we've been analyzing both. We still get the schedule, and then we look at the real what's happening. And there's been time where the schedule don't match the reality. A schedule plans change your life. Rarely people go back and change what the schedule is supposed to be. So if you booked a trailer to go to farm A to B, but that trailer is not working today, so you quickly make a change, our logistic guy, we're not going back into the schedule to change that. We had an injector that, it was very interesting, early in our pilot project, so he was going from farm to inject, and then we had a disease outbreak, we called him, and they say, hey, the app is telling us you went back from farm A to B back to A, but your schedule doesn't say that. So we were doubting the app at the time, and he said, oh no, I have to go back because I did not finish the job there, so and it was okay with Australia, but it's an example in a contact tracing, we would never have really gone that far. It flagged right away saying, actually now farm A is back into the contact tracing. And then people memory is wow. If you've done enough disease investigation or asking questions, I don't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. Imagine asking me what could have happened to my farm 14 days ago or a month ago. It's a real challenge. People either don't remember or remember wrong. This has really helped us to help their memory or ask the right question in our disease investigation. And that is it.
Okay, folks. So, an example of a new technology, geofencing, and its application to help inform the outbreak investigation. Questions for Karine? Yeah, John, there you go.
So, connectivity in the rural areas, is it an issue? Does it take much broadband to
Yep, connectivity in rural. So we're in Manitoba, that's really a challenge. We have lots of farms that have no web-based, that's definitely a no, and even cell phone is questionable in some of our areas. So that was one of our biggest, I would not say challenge, question when we went in. I have to report it's going very well. So what happened, it's a GPS app, and you might not be able to do your check-in, but it will still register your visit, the GPS. And once you get back into cell phone service, it does report it. Sometimes there's a delay, there's a few glitches, so the time that you spend at the farm, but we don't really, for me, a minute or an hour, you've been there. So maybe the time will be wrong. But no, it's been working very well in very poor cell phone area as well.
And another one.
So what about fencing, I mean real fencing and gates? Have you incorporated that in some of the sites?
Real fencing and gates that we incorporate that. We do have gates, they bring challenge. So we have gates with little locks, and feed truck goes around 24 hours a day. They hate those at night. So we've been having broken locks, or people don't close the gate again. We don't have real fence around the whole perimeters. That's not something we have, but the gates have We've looked into automatic gate. I mean, we're in Manitoba when it's -40. There's snow. There's been, it would be very expensive and unpractical at this point. It's not out of the question totally yet, but the technology has not been there to service us at this point. But to totally prevent unwanted traffic, absolutely. Like, again, this will not prevent people from coming on site that don't have the app or anything like that.
Sure. So, you know, some things that come enter the perimeter buffer area of a site never go inside the barn, so they don't cross the line of separation. Some things do, right? Is it precise enough that you can get down to that level, or is it?
Yeah, so you make the geofence, so you make the, oh, sorry, is that precise enough if you don't really go in too close to the site? Will that detect you? So really, you're the master of that. So the company will place a geofence for us. So you cannot geofence everything you want in the world. So the company takes care of that for obvious reason. But once you have the geofence, you can work with those margins. And the issue we've had actually for us is we made it smaller a little bit because we're picking up a lot of traffic on the road, and those were just background noise we didn't like. But you make your own form. You remember that picture I showed? So you really make, so for us, we made sure we included the lagoon to capture when you're pumping, because the equipment really often go around, use the field in the back and not the main driveway. So yes, it's customable, and yes, you will pick it up as big as you make your geofence.
John?
Oh,
Joe.
Yeah, how do you rank the risk? You mentioned you work on the top risk down.
Yeah, so how do we rank the risk? It's made by the software, and it's really a direct contact versus an indirect contact. So if you've been to farm A and then you go to farm B directly, and farm A is involved in a contact tracing, that would be 0. Now, try to remember, level 1 would be somebody went to farm B at the same time you were there, go somewhere else. So we don't spend, and then the 3 would be even worse, like you meet in an office. Yeah, it's for me, I've been concentrating on level 0, that direct contact. You went to the farm in question and you went to another farm, but you could go up to 3 down if you were worried. But that's all made in the software.
All right, she talks very quickly, so we have time for one more.
So the investment in the app, has it paid for itself through saving time tracing, or is this more of a future investment?
Yes, that's a really good question. Well, it depends how much you value your contact tracing team time, I guess. For us, it was a no-brainer. That paid itself, not just only on contact tracing, which I hope we don't have to do in the future. What we started to see was how we could prevent disease from happening, and that has almost no price when you get to $1 million waste, like with PD or PRRS. In time, you could look at that as it was taking us at least 2 people, if not 3, 2 days. Multiply that by the number of outbreak reports you do, so you could calculate that. Yeah.